So, after you gave birth to your beautiful daughter, did you feel like, as like a creative, do you feel like, right, now I need to get a quote-unquote proper job? Or...
Yeah. Because I felt like if I said to my family that I was just going to focus on my design stuff, friends and family, that they'd be like, oh, okay, you're a bad mother. Because... No, but it's a case you literally choosing to be skint. When you start out as a designer, setting up, being self-employed, all that, you're choosing to be skint. So if I was to turn around to my friends and family and say, I'm going to choose to be skint, but at least I'll be doing what I love, I felt like they'd be like, oh, well, aren't you a bad mother then? You should do something proper.
That's sad. Yeah, I don't think they would have felt like that, but I can see the mind frame of being... feeling like that.
It was that, and it was also, I had no idea where I was starting, but also I had brain fog. Because I've just had a baby.
Yeah,
brain fog, oh my lord, it's... Every time I realise, like even now I'm getting a little bit more... I've obviously got a lot more clarity than I did when she was born, but inner clarity was just non-existent when she was born, because you're just in a bubble. That
just like autopilot, right, okay, we need to just look after this brand new baby that's brought into the world, and that's it, like tunnel vision almost.
Yeah, like when I was pregnant, I was about 3-4 months pregnant, and I was like, yeah, I'll be going back to work about 6 months, and I don't know if I'll go back to the old company, but I'm going to find something about 6 months in. I was breastfeeding, and I was having a really difficult relationship with breastfeeding, and also the adjustment of losing my identity and becoming a mother. So 6 months in, I wasn't going back to work. I was worried I was going to be judged for that, but I just had to accept it, that I wasn't going to go back to work at 6 months, because I wasn't in a good space at all.
You don't want to do something that's going to harm you, and then obviously subsequently your baby as well, because like you need to be the best for your baby.
Well, I think that's it. If you don't have kids, when you have your first child, you realise what selflessness is, because you just will be selfless. You just don't even think about it, you just are selfless, because instantly this bundle of joy is your number one priority at all times.
Because they literally need you.
Literally. And I would, like my mum, she taught me this thing where I'd ring her stressed, like, I've not been able to put her down for 6 hours and all I want is a shower. Typical, valid but typical first mum and mum problems. The best piece of advice she gave me was just play a David Attenborough voice in your head and act as if this is your offspring in a way, so that I'd, for example, the polar bear. The mother nurtures the child with love and affection. The mother feeds the child and provides it with vitamins and energy.
Yeah.
And
once David Attenborough coming to save.
Once you do that, it takes because there is times where you start to feel a bit selfish and aggy because you just have it on your own, and it takes it away and it makes you focus back on what you're doing. And so I thought, in terms of going back to work, teaching was something that I'd always thought about. So I thought if I apply for a teaching course, I've got a little bit of time to get there, so it gave me a bit of a crutch and an excuse in a way for not to be working. I guess it was my excuse.
And then at least you've got a starting point, you've got something to work towards.
Yeah. So applied to do a school direct PGCE with QTS at a lovely school in Trafford. Yeah, so I started that one while I was about 18 months old, so I didn't go back to work for a long time. Hadn't done anything creative in that time, and yes, it had really stressed me out. So because I thought by going into teaching design and technology that I'd then start exploring that creative side, and then once I'd been exploring that creative side again, I'd then maybe start my business as a little side thing with teaching. Wow. I started teaching in COVID, so COVID had hit.
Oh no.
So COVID had been going on for maybe 5 months by this point, and I think we'd just come out of a lockdown, and then I started in the September. And when I tell you I loved teaching, I'd do it right now.
It's nice to have you on, because our first episode I went into depth of how I hated teaching. It's just not for me, so it's nice to have the juxtaposition with you being like, oh my god, I love it, and I'm like, I hate it, and my steam coming out of my ears.
What age are you teaching?
16 plus.
Oh, okay. I mean, I was teaching 11 to 18, some of the sixth formers.
It was difficult. It was very difficult.
Well, it is, because it's the side that kids and parents don't see. All the paperwork, all the management, all the admin, it's
A lot.
hell. One of my first ever lessons that I was teaching, I'd put obviously the PowerPoint together, got the worksheets and stuff, and hadn't put the learning objective on all my slides, but I'd put it on the first couple because that was relevant. But then obviously didn't get told off, but then was informed that it has to be on every single one, and it has to be the same font, and it has to be in the exact same place every time. And it was that side, as well as I was marking and grading year 10 work, obviously like coursework stuff, about 8-10 weeks into teaching.
That's full on.
And I had to compare it to don't get me wrong, it's all skills that I needed to learn, but I felt like that was quite soon, because I was putting a predicted grade on that they were going to discuss at parents' evening, and I put it on.
That's scary.
But